As the Only Imagine competition team starts preparing for their upcoming 2023 season, I interviewed 2 dancers and former students at Stratford High about why training is so important.
To me, training is important because if you don't have the fundamentals of what you're doing, you could get hurt.
Training is important because it strengthens your muscles, and it also starts to, it activates your muscle memory so that whenever you go on stage, you don't panic going, oh my gosh, I don't know the choreography. You automatically, your muscles just know how to do it and you don't even have to think about it. So
I then asked the owner and studio director, Miss Heather Banda, about why she thinks training her students is so important.
Training is important for a lot of reasons. Number one, to build muscle and muscle memory. That's really important in dance. It's also important for endurance, to be able to get all the way through the dances without looking exhausted, and just overall for technique purposes. So training is super important.
I then asked why training as a team is beneficial and what does it do for the team.
For me, it's the team bonding and the experiences we get to share with each other.
So the benefit of training as a team is that you get to establish a personal connection to those that you're dancing with, because whenever you don't know who you're dancing with, it's very stiff, it's very awkward. You don't know how the other person moves, you don't know how long it's going to take them to know the choreography. So training as a team helps out a lot.
We know teachers and coaches have it rough, so we asked Miss Heather what the hardest thing about teaching team is.
The hardest thing about teaching team is definitely the personalities, the different personalities. We have a team of 40+ girls that are all very, very different. Some very sassy, some very opinionated, some a lot of things. And so I think that's definitely the hardest part, is keeping things cohesive and having everyone get along.
Competition season carries a lot of stress for dancers and teachers, so I asked Callie Kide and Brie Rodriguez what their favorite part of competition season is.
My favorite part about the competition season is the friendships and bonds that you get to make over the course of the season.
My favorite part of competition season is probably the final dress rehearsals, because that's when everything comes together, everybody knows the choreography, and you're preparing to do the dances in front of judges, and that's probably the best part.
My favorite thing about competition season is probably traveling and getting to hang out with everybody outside of the studio. It's nice to get to interact with the kids, not just in the classroom. So I think that's probably my favorite thing.
We know why training is important, but why is it beneficial to the team and to the competition season?
Training makes the competition season better because we spend so much time with each other that most of the time we're just goofing off.
So training is important for the season because in our area, as a dancer, if you don't go to rehearsal, you don't know your dances, and you're going to make a fool of yourself in front of the judges. So training gives you the ability to learn the choreography and know how to act it out rather than just going through the motions.
I have been teaching team about 10 years, maybe a little bit longer. We didn't have a team when we first opened the studio, so I guess it was about 5 years in when Kimmy started teaching that we started a team. So
I then asked what they hope for the season and for their team.
For me, it's hoping we place in any of our dances and hopefully going to nationals.
I'm really hoping that we all at least score platinums and above, and if not, that if we do score those lower scores like golds or high golds, that we're able to come together as a team and be like, all right, what can we do to make this better, rather than being upset with each other because we scored low.
What do I want for my students? I want them to be successful, but not just successful at dance competitions. I want them to be successful human beings. I feel like here we're raising them up to be good people. I love when they have great technique and they do well at competition, they perform well, and that's awesome because that's ultimately what we are as a dance studio. But I want them to succeed at life. So I think that's probably the most important thing to me.
Reporting for Real TV, Emma Bostian.